freaking coach on the staff, every player better wake up and start understanding where we're at. Have some personal pride, have a freaking sense of urgency, know where we're at, have some pride into who we're playing for and why we do this, and then go find a way to win as a team. That's my challenge to every single person in that building this week, is that. And so yesterday was flat out embarrassing. And our guys know it. I'm not telling you something they don't know. They know it.
Brian Westbrook joins us now. Brian, good morning. I've watched a handful of Bears games this season, and every single game you'll hear announcers say, this Bears team needs life. They on both sides of the ball, they just need some life to them. Matt Nagy finally calling everybody out here. What do you make of what the head coach had to say?
Good morning, Jenna. I absolutely have no problem with anything that Matt Nagy said. I think that when I listen to it, I'm hearing a coach that's screaming, we have to do something to save my job and potentially one of you guys' jobs as well. And so I have no problem with this. As a player, I think that if this is the first time you're hearing things like this in the media, then shame on you. You should be the first person saying, okay, I got to do something different. We've lost 5 games in a row, and we have to find a way to do something different than what we've been doing, because obviously that's not working. But when you listen to the comments, really in the totality of this comments, Brandon, I think Matt Nagy really was talking to his defense. I mean, they gave up 102 rushing yards. They allowed the Packers to convert 55% of their third downs, and they had 0 sacks on Aaron Rodgers. If this Bears team is going to be good, if they're going to win games and turn this thing around, it's going to be on the backs of their defense, because offensively, they're still trying to figure out what they're going to do with the quarterback.
Yeah, well, B, I wish you were in the locker room when I actually said the same exact thing. Like, go back a couple years ago, I said the same thing, and I was really talking to 2 players. We just played Tampa Bay. We lost to them. I walk in the locker room. I'm really talking to 2 players, and I'm like, look, you have to love this game. I have tears in my eye. I'm super passionate about this. I'm like, you have to love this game. It means more than the money, more than the fame. If you think that you're going to just wake up one day and just play this game and you have no love, no passion, no purpose behind it, then you're mistaken. The door swings open. The media sitting in a tunnel. They hear me saying this, and then that was the end of my career in Chicago. I am still bitter to this day because it ended that way. Like, I felt like I'm glad we're having this topic, because this is therapeutic for me. I need to get this off my chest, Nick. Like, I felt like I embodied the Chicago, this people, like the personality, the blue collar, the work ethic that the Chicago people had. And then then at the end of the day, they kicked me out of the organization because I came with the passion and the purpose that Matt Nagy just talked about. So I'm a little bitter, guys. Well, it's therapeutic. I had to get that off my chest.
I feel for you, Brandon, and we can discuss it more in the post-show meeting if you need further therapy on it. I think your outburst was earnest and well-intentioned. I think Matt Nagy is being a little calculating here. So here's the deal. You got 2 Andy Reid disciples, both of whom are all of a sudden are on the hot seat. Doug Peterson in Philly, Matt Nagy in Chicago. They have very, very different press conference approaches. I think we can say that without a shadow of a doubt. I think Matt Nagy understands we were 5-1. We're now impossibly 5-6. And I am going to get fired unless this thing turns around massively and I get some credit for the turnaround. So I think he sees we're on national television against the Packers, get annihilated. What do we got coming up? Well, we got a Detroit team that fired its coach, a Houston team that's fired its coach. A couple weeks later, we got a Jacksonville team that just fired its GM. We got teams in disarray. We have a chance to salvage what will, at the end of the year, look like a decent record, maybe 8-8. And if I can plant my flag that, the turning point of the season, remember when Matt Nagy said, have some personal pride, wake up. It's not that now we get to play the Lions and not the Packers. Now we get to play the Jags and not the Vikings. No. It was that moment. I think Matt Nagy right now understands unless there is a massive change in narrative, he's going to be out of a job. And so this is his version of the Jim Fossil, I'll put all my chips in the middle of the table. Well, of course you will, because you're going to be fired otherwise, so you might as well. It's not actually a risk. So I think that's what Matt Nagy's doing. I think it's actually pretty smart. And given who the Bears have coming up, I think it actually could be remembered somewhat fondly.
Wild. Well, here's the thing. We're in the narrative business. Are you buying it, considering you just undressed the whole motivation behind it? I'm not buying it.
No, I'm not.
It's not turning me. I'm like, wow,
but it got Brandon ready to go to a tryout. Yeah, I'm not buying it, but Brandon's ready to run through a wall for him. Brandon's like, bring me back, coach. I'm what you need. I will proselytize for you.
No.
So just because it's not resonating with me doesn't mean it's not going to work.
No, for me,
I just know the Chicago
if
Tribune.
That was supposed to be. No, Brandon. If that was supposed to be a narrative-defining moment, it wasn't it. And Brian, tell me I'm different, but if I'm in the locker room, I'd be like, whatever. I'm going to try harder? Like you were in a game like, ooh, my coach said to try harder. I have to have some personal pride. Okay, yeah. All right, I guess I'll run faster and block better. I don't know if it's resonating in the media or the locker room, but you can tell me I'm different.
Well, I think the things that do resonate is when you tell teams that, our jobs are on the line because guys love money. They love having employment. Then when you tell teams this and you tell them that we need more from you. And again, I think he solely was talking to the defense. We need you guys to play better because offensively we're still trying to figure things out. And, what else can Matt Nagy say? He can't say, hey, we can execute better and different things like that because we already know that. Now we say we need you to do a little bit more, take a little bit more time. He mentioned the thing. If you're talking about catching 10 balls on the jugs, catch 20. If you're studying film for 2 hours after practice, study it for 4. Do the small things, detail your work a little bit more. And if you do that, we're trying to find a way to win. Hopefully that can help us win the football game.
I guess so.
Yeah, B, but in all seriousness, I learned an important lesson in Chicago. Like, I truly am a little bitter, but, because I definitely thought I was going to retire Chicago Bear. But I learned a lot about leadership. And what I learned in that moment was guys respond differently in a losing locker room when you get called out and it becomes public. Not everybody can handle that. So what Matt Nagy is doing, yes, Nick, it can be that point in the season where it's like, oh, that speech and what he did turned things around. But you got to look at the dynamic right now. You're talking about the defense. The defensive guys are going to look at coach like, no, you need to talk about your quarterbacks. Like, you guys put us in this situation. You guys didn't get us a good enough quarterback. Like, that is 100%. Right. So, and then you're also, and then you're also going to have guys talking about, you're calling me out. What about the play that you call on 3rd and short, or the 2-minute drill, or it's going to be a lot of finger pointing, Nick.
Just real quick, just to bring this full circle, Brandon, what I really think will make you feel better is if you tell us who those 2 players were. It was Jay Cutler and who?
I'll take it from here, Brandon. I will say
nobody?
I can't do it.